Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Dredge. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zero. Let's get to it. So today we're continuing on our journey to completing Dredge, but before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. Captain's Log, Day 53. The days just start running together as I continue to fish and dredge and sell and repair and upgrade and continue on. So Dredge is a fishing horror survival type game, heavy on the fishing, and then also with the other two things added in, I would say. Check our crab pot here and continue on. See what we can get in. Now there's only one more day left on this crab pot. I'd kind of like to see like what everything is worth, because now I know that one that I discarded was not worth a whole lot, so I got rid of it because for the amount of space it takes up, not too awesome. I would say as you're going along through the campaign, depending on how long or how far you stretch it out, you're kind of subsisting. You're fishing to get money, and you get money to fish more, and it's just kind of cycling to upgrade your boat, both in terms of like size of the boat, how much cargo you can hold, but also everything else like your fishing speed and your boating speed. And you're being constrained at all points in time by the amount of cash that you have, by the number of research points that you have, by the number of slots that you have for any particular item, whether it is lights or motors or trawl nets or what have you. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of unknowns here. Lots of research points that I still need. Research points are really hard to come by. You occasionally get them from dredging items. It's pretty rare, though. And then, of course, oh, look at that. I got 2 days left, and I've got a full crab pot. Alright, so you occasionally get them from searching around when you're docked. Finishing different pursuits will sometimes give them will give you a research point or two. The traveling merchant sometimes has a research point. Now, if you're playing with the most updated version as of now, the traveling merchant does have one, possibly two, each day. Previously, that wasn't the case. It was just kind of hit and miss when you can buy them. So you either check the traveling merchant every day, or you would just be like, whatever, I'm just going to look around and try and find something. The other thing is the fishing rods that you get are only good for certain areas. So there isn't a one fishing rod to rule them all kind of thing. But there's so many different areas or types of areas. You've got abyssal, Haddle, coastal, disturbed, oceanic, shallow. You've got volcanic. You've got mangrove. So, I mean, how many is that? And there's no fishing rod that will do all of those. So if you want to be able to fish, you need at least 2 fishing rods. At least. And then, of course, you don't have room for a trawl net, so you can't do any trawling if you do it that way. So either you have to have a fishing rod for the location, which of course you're uninstalling and reinstalling, so you're spending a better part of a day doing that, or you're like, well, screw it, I'm not trawling, or I'm not fishing in this area. Now this area seems like you get a decent amount of cash from the fish that are here. Of course, you have to have the generator in order to fish here. Otherwise, you'll get destroyed every time. All right, another book. Red, another perk gained. That's awesome. All right, let's fill up this cargo hold with as many fish as we can, as quickly as we can, which is dependent on your fishing speed. It's dependent on your motor speed, how fast you can get to the different fishing spots. So in the beginning, you can feel like it takes all day just to fish a couple of spots, and well, it's because it does. And then as you go along, all of a sudden you have this incremental change depending on if you make a jump up. But a lot of that has to do with research points. How many research points do you have that you can invest into these different, more efficient fishing rods and motors? Plus, you also have to look at how much space you have. Oh, look at that. There we go. I can get one more of these suckers. Look at that. Almost full. There is a challenge to completely fill up your cargo hold with, whatever. So if you've got fishing rods and motors and a light, and then of course fish. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sell all those fish. We got a decent chunk of change out of that, which is good. Got 2,000 in the bank, 2,300. That's good because it's probably going to go pretty quickly. Alright, one of the nice mechanics that you see in the game is that the dock, wherever you dock, whether it's a traveling merchant or a city, the dock is always a safe place. Night isn't necessarily the only time that's not great to be out. If you have been out all night, you haven't slept in a while, the day can be just as dangerous as the night. So you might think, well, I'm going to see how quickly I can finish it in terms of the number of days, since it tracks how many days that you go through. Look at that. And of course, installing. I should have gotten up in the middle of the night, or partway through the night, to install that, but that's neither here nor there. We've got one extra light slot. I don't know if I want to add one to it right now. I feel like if I wait a little bit longer, then I can put a second 2 slot in there. There we go. The amount of light that you have always feels like it's never enough. Got part of a treasure map. Got some refined metal. Definitely going to need that at some point. And then, you know, trinkets and resources for upgrades. I feel like I'm always like searching for dredging opportunities so I can upgrade. Hey, look at that. There we go. So I can try and find a research point, if at all possible, and second of all, I always feel like I'm resource poor, whether it's lumber or metal, refined metal, of course, cloth, what have you. All right, look at that. I got a few perks in here. It's not like a huge difference, but it's enough of a difference that it makes it noticeable, especially over time. Especially with things like, oh, you're not depleting the fishing hole as quickly, or you have a chance, I should say. That giant crown of thorns takes up like a third or a quarter of the cargo hold. It's not okay, man. Especially earlier on, depending on where you go, when. I mean, you're constrained somewhat because the bottom half of the map, you don't have to worry about those specific ones like the top, like volcanic and mangrove. There's no sense going up there until you have a fishing rod that can handle that. Alright, so I need to go back. That's the nice thing. When you've got a traveling merchant close to where there's a lot of fish, so you can go through, you can do fish, and then you can run back. Yeah, that wasn't a lot of money, but like I said, the Crown of Thorns I don't think is worth a whole lot. But I feel like if I'm discarding it, that I'm wasting it. Your fishing efficiency will determine, you know, how quickly or how long you can be out before you have to head back in. Everything's getting dark now, and there's different fish at night. There are some fish that you can only get with a fishing rod. There's other ones that you can only get with a crab pot or a trawl. So if you want to get all the different types of fish, then you're going to have all the different equipment at some point, I should say. Try to fit in as many as I can. Use my space efficiently. There we go. And that's all I can get of those guys. And kind of feel like I should probably head back. There we go. And just back and forth. And there's nothing wrong with a satisfying loop. Going out, fishing, coming back, selling it, going back out, fishing, coming back, selling it, getting a upgrade, or getting something that's a little bit better than what you had before with the money that you have, upgrading your hull, etc. Yeah, see, that's what I should have done. You got a couple hours of installation time. Alright, just kind of looking around to see where I want to go. Using haste is always a little bit of a risk. Not as much during the day, but definitely at night. And the more it's over 50%, the more danger or paranoid your guy gets. All of a sudden you start seeing that eyeball show up in the top middle. Yeah, that's another thing. You can kind of like go to different areas. You're like, oh, I've fished this spot so long. There's not a whole lot of fishing holes that aren't, mostly depleted. Because even though they come back slowly. So the stock is like low as soon as you start. So all of a sudden you're like, well, I need to go somewhere else. Need to go somewhere different because the amount of fish is just less, and so you're spending more time moving around from one fishing hole to another. Yeah. Got to play a little bit of Tetris with the amount of space you have. And you're like, maybe I won't fish it out completely. It's up to you whether you want to go to a fishing hole and completely fish it out, or if you only want to get one. Sometimes they're one and the same. Getting one fish will completely deplete it. There we go. Speaking of dredging. Ooh, look at that. Nice thing is that all of these fishing holes will replenish over time, and even the dredging spots that have the cloth and the metal, you come back after a few days and there'll be another one there, so you can always get another. Except for maybe the exotics. The exotics, I think, are only one. So once you get one, then you're done. Ooh, look at that. I'll take it. I won't say no. Dredging gives you that opportunity, or at least a chance of getting a research point, so you can get an upgrade for your boat. Obviously, even if you have the research points, if you don't have the spots open, the upgraded hull, etc., it's not going to matter, because you can't have the best engine, light, fishing rod, etc., with the basic hull that you start off with. Not to mention, it can't take as much damage. I remember getting the getting hit by something in the base hole, and it took off two slots right off the get-go, and I'm like, what the heck? So you get hit twice and you're out. I think it was the angler boat that hit me, because I'm like, what? There's another boat out here? and then all of a sudden you see the little angler light in front of it, and you're like, oh, that doesn't look good. And of course, it's too late at that point. All right, let's see what we have available. Lumber. I don't think I have any lumber, which makes it difficult. But that's the only thing I need. I need lumber. I think you'll probably find that that's the case when you're playing through. You're going to have one type of resource that you're always short on. I always like looking around. It's like, well, should I get a cloudy? I kind of keep hoping that there's going to be like an upgraded version of the cloudy bulb that'll make it worthwhile for me to get. Because I had gotten a cloudy bulb long ago when I got my first slot. I was like, I don't want the cracked one. Those water spouts always make me think that I'm going to a fishing hole, and then it starts to, spin up, and I'm like, oh, get away. Get away. Alright, so I need a charge. Explosive charge there. Camera angle's a little bit funny when you're right next to a cliff. Man, there is a red cloud right next to the merchant. Alright, so let's get that explosive. We'll add it onto the boat. We'll sleep off. At least mostly through the night, and go back and blow up those rocks. So official daylight starts at 6 a.m. and then 6 p.m. is when it starts getting dark. So you've got a 12 hours of dark, 12 hours of light. There we go. Blow it up, and let's see what's here. Alright. Dredging for gold. Trinkets. Which will turn into money. Alright, earrings. Nothing wrong with that. One of the challenges, of course, is the selling a certain money's worth of trinkets. Those things are always huge. Alright, so we got a relic that we can take back to the guy. We'll use Manifest. So instead of spending your time traveling back to him, you can instantaneously, whatever time of day, back to the guy. However, your anxiety starts peaking pretty much right away. Alright, so now we got a music box. He says, yes, my precious. So every time you bring a relic back to this guy, he gives you a new ability. Alright, banish. Something that we can actually use that, you probably could have used all along. But much like Manifest and Haste, I'm sure it's got a cooldown. Alright, so temporary protection from most things. The more they're spoken, the more they're understood. Interesting. All right. So we still need to find a couple more items for him. And then, of course, more hindrance than help. Yep. The old mayor. Plenty of things to be said. And we already went to the workshop and took everything. I kind of wondered if something wouldn't have popped back in, but oh well. This island, though, has such a tight cove in it. It's difficult to get everything. Yeah, all these abilities have a price attached to it. So you get extra speed, but you have to let it cool down. And if you overuse it, then you're gonna break your engine. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab all the trinkets and sell it. As far as I know, there's only one trinket buyer. Alright, while we're here, maybe we can do some fishing and then go sell it to the fishmonger that's right across the pond here. I think we'll probably finish up here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
ステーション